what's going on, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. Now, as you know, today we are taking a look, and I know you've been waiting patiently for this. This is my Glycine Combat Sub, and this is reference number GL0265. We're gonna do a full in-depth review on it. Now, if you guys don't remember, the reason that I purchased this watch was to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers. The story behind it is this. I wanted a watch that was bronze case, that was going to be something that would develop a patina or patinate over time, and kind of be a reminder to me of how my channel started off pristine and new when I first was getting into YouTube, and I've learned a lot along the way. I've changed both in my style of how I record my videos, editing abilities, gear that I purchased, and of course my watch collection itself. And this will serve as a reminder to me of how things are always changing and you're always developing in everything that you do. And I think this is the perfect watch to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers, Swiss made. We'll get into all the details here for you shortly. And I know you guys are anxious to see it up close. But real quick, in case if you're new to the channel, my name is Dave. May the Schwartz be with you. And hey, did you know? It's a great day to wear a watch. Today I have on my Gallant watch, and I do have it on my Straps Co. Dasari leather racing strap, great pairing. Now, if you haven't seen my review on my Straps Co. straps, you can check it out up here. I highly recommend it. But without further ado, let's jump into this review. All right, guys, here we go. This is the Glycine Combat Sub, and this is the bronze case version. Model number is GL0265. But real quick, before we get into the specs, hashtag yoga hand, it is back. I'm keeping this hand free so I can use my smartphone, but the yoga hand has returned. So thumbs up for yoga hands. You guys know what's up. All right. Now again, I've had this watch since towards the middle or end of August, and I wanted to show you the patina that it's kind of developed is very subtle on the bronze case itself. But I want to show, and you can see it even more so here in the buckle, because that's what gets touched a whole lot more. And so the buckle is definitely darker in color than the case itself. So just wanted to point that out. I wanted to show you, if you choose to go the route of keeping the bronze case looking the best that it possibly can, you're gonna wanna use these polishing claws. You've heard me talk about it in so many other videos. This one again is from James Avery, but I wanna show you guys and do a little demonstration just how awesome these things really are. So you can see how tarnished it already has gotten. And check this out. And you'll see it pulling all of that off. And the reason I'm showing you this will be the only time that I do this for my particular watch. But if you like the look of the new and fresh bronze and you want to keep it that shiny, polished kind of color and finish, then you just have to be on top of it in terms of always cleaning and polishing the metal itself to prevent that tarnish from eating away or etching into it. But just a real quick, you can see it's only been a few seconds where I've been hitting this with my polishing cloth, and you can really see the difference now. So just something that you can do if you choose to go that route with your bronze. Like I said, this will be the only time that I do it, so I'll probably give it one nice buffing, and then I'm gonna leave it alone and just let it get back to its dark bronze color over time. Now, as you can see, there's definitely some similarities to the Tudor Black Bay bronze, but it's not a direct copy or homage. I like that we have kind of the Mercedes hands without the lines in it, so it's just circular. The baton minute hand is very, of course, close to the Tudor, and it goes all the way to the minute markers, which I like. And of course, those Arabic numerals at 369 with that elongated isosceles triangle at 12 o'clock. So all very similar kind of cues. And then of course, the red triangle that we see there in the bezel is also kind of a nod to Tudor Black Bay. So I like it, and that's part of what drew me to this watch. But let's just go ahead and first give you some measurements. So the case diameter on this is coming in at 42 millimeters. If we include the crown, it's putting us right under 47 millimeters. The lug to lug height, I believe, is going to be right around 50. Yep, 50 millimeters. And then the thickness on this automatic watch is coming in right at 10.6 millimeters, so about 10.5. Very impressive to see, considering there's a lot of other cheaper watches. They tend to be a little bit thicker in terms of dive watches, but I like that this one is relatively thin for its size. And this wears really well on the wrist because, as you'll see with the case shape, how the lugs taper down pretty aggressively. It's going to help wrap around smaller wrists, but we'll get this on the wrist here in a moment. Now I got to talk real quick about the specs. So this does have a Glycine automatic movement caliber GL0264. It's 25 joules, and that is giving us 38 powers reserve, beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour. So you're getting that nice, smooth, consistent sweep. We'll get it here on the time graph shortly so we can see what kind of accuracy we're dealing with. There you see at 6 o'clock Swiss made indication. So this is one of my few Swiss made watches in my collection, and I gotta say, I get it now. I'm starting to appreciate the level of detail and finishing that's going into Swiss made watches. I gotta at least, give some kudos there. I start to understand a little bit more with this watch why Swiss made is held in such a higher regard. So I get it, guys. Oh, and real quick, so I wanted to also point out the measurements on the strap are 22 millimeters at the lugs. That does taper down just a little bit to 20 millimeters. So if you are going to swap out straps, then you can definitely do that with the tang buckle. Just make sure it tapers down to 20 millimeters. And then I also have paired it up with this strap, which I got from Straps Co. You guys have seen that video, which I linked previously, but it'll be in the description for you. And I think this pairs up nicely. I'll show you both on the wrist as well, so you can kind of see it's growing on me, and I am enjoying this strap quite a bit, so go check them out. Now, getting back to the specs of the watch, for the crystal, we're looking at an anti-reflective sapphire crystal, which we know to expect at this price point. And then when we look at the back of the case, you can see, of course, our combat sea lions. They should have some rifles in their hands. I'll have to draw those in later. But we see the model number, bronze case, steel case back, automatic sapphire, 20 millimeters water resistance, and the serial number. I like that these are quick release straps, so that definitely makes it a lot easier for swapping them out when you're ready to do that. This leather is kind of like a distressed black leather, and I like the contrast stitching that we see there. You can tell this is just going to age a little bit more as it gets more wear and tear over the years, but I like we have Glycine branding etched into it as well. Just a simple strap. Now the bezel, we got to point out, this is an aluminum bezel, 120 click. This is without a doubt the best bezel of any watch in my collection. This thing is just so tight, and it does not move at all. There's no back play, no give. When you click it in, it's going to stay exactly where you put it. Everything lines up perfectly. There we go, as it should. Now you can see on the dial that texturing pattern almost looks kind of like orange peel. It's really nice, plays with the light, as you can see it doing here, shifting from black to that kind of slate gray color. And that's part of why I went with the strap from Straps Co, because I knew there was going to be a little bit of play with that matching up coming out of the top and bottom of the watch. So that's why I went with that there, because of that effect you see on the dial itself. We see the Glycine branding with the, I don't know, with whatever kind of crown it is. I can't remember if this is the newer or the older branding. I think this is the newer one, because the other one was like the Armani. They had that whole deal. Matt from Rock the Watch did a video talking about the Glycine logo, so you should definitely check that out. I'm actually going to link it down below, because he goes into all the detail about that short transition period between the logos with Glycine and why. So really cool. Thanks for the explanation there, Matt. But we see combat automatic sub 20 atmosphere, so 200 meters water resistance indication. Some people are on the fence about the date window at 4 o'clock and then having the red date number. I think it looks really cool, and I like how it ties in with these subtle red accents, in the lettering, and then of course at the bezel. Here's our coin edge screw down crown with the Glycine logo. Turning this is really nice. It's not super loud, but you can definitely feel the gears. And I like that it feels nice. The crown is stiff in place. There's not dancing around or anything like that. So the date change happens. You can see it starting to barely move at 11:30 and just pops in right at midnight. I love that with this watch. Kind of reminds me of my Frederic Constant Swiss made watches. I guess the movements that they're using. I love how that date just changes almost immediately at midnight. Really cool. And then actuating the crown, it's very nice, smooth. A little bit slower than what I'd like, but again, I don't change the time a whole lot or very often, so this isn't a big deal to me. And as you can see, with the crown in position 2, we are hacked with the second hand, so that's nice. We'll go ahead and start that up again. This dial, as you see with that kind of vintage color applied, stick indices, obviously at all the hour markers other than 369, with Arabic numerals, and then that elongated triangle at 12 o'clock. So this is Super Luminova that's applied to all of the hour markers, and then also in the hands and that box on the second hand. And I will give you a lume shot here so you can see it. The lume is just amazing on this watch. It lasts for hours and hours before fading out. But I think we've gone over all the specs and features of the watch. Let's go ahead and put it on our time graph and see what kind of accuracy we're getting here. Okay, so I've had this running for a couple minutes, and as you can see, we're getting really good amplitude, 311, and then very minute beat error at only 0.2 milliseconds. And of course, with this 28,800 vibrations per hour, and we're getting right at +1 second per day. Simply phenomenal. Again, one of the better watches in terms of performance in the collection. No real complaints about the performance of this watch in any way. Okay, and here we have it on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, with those lugs curving down, it just sits really nicely on my wrist. And again, like I said, I think you can go with a smaller wrist and this will still work for you. It's 42 millimeters, but it doesn't really fit or wear like a 42 millimeter watch in my opinion. It almost seems more like a 40 millimeter. And here is the watch on the Strapsco strap, that Seatbelt NATO. So I think that the pairing of this is starting to grow on me a lot more. So I think I did good on the colors, but let me know what you think, especially with it here in front of all this brass. I think it looks really cool. All right, so just one other type of pairing idea that you can go with. And there it is on the brown vintage leather strap. So again, watch plays nicely with dark colors just as well as with browns and earth tones. But let me know in the comment which strap combo is your favorite. I've been meaning to make this video for a while, so I apologize on it taking me so long. This watch is always going to hold a special place in my collection, as I explained at the beginning of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And I have a lot of really cool videos coming up here in the future, so please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thank you for your support and being part of the Schwartz Force. As always, may the Schwartz be with you, and I will see you at the next one. Take care.